I'm Neat,
I'm
and this
Rocks.
is the Bourbon Barrel, and we've got
Right
a
up there.
little fireside chat going.
Yeah, this is a whole different. Well, we usually film right over there. Same
But
room.
yeah, this is
Hmm.
same room, different area. Welcome to the cribs of the rich and the famous.
Sure, absolutely.
Not even remotely on either of
Lifestyles
those.
of the rich and famous. For,
The
sure.
basements of the guys who live above a trailer park. Like I don't, just
Underground bunker in case
just
of
better than the trailer park.
nuclear war or something.
So
Around
anyway,
here, it can say a lot of things. Fireside chat, retrospective, bourbon barrel.
please subscribe.
Hey, yeah, subscribe, like us, do all that stuff.
But yeah, so this is right around our 101st episode, which is why we got some 101 here for you.
There you go. One of our favorites,
Yeah, yeah.
clearly.
I had some last night in preparation.
Nice.
Thank you.
I did not drink anything yesterday at all. Yeah, I tried to keep it clean because I knew I'd have some drinks today. So
But this is going to be more of a like what we've done, what we want to do, and what we hope to do, kind of.
yeah, that's what that's how
What we're doing and where we're going.
sounded like a good way to go about that.
Yeah. So first of all, our very first episode ever, we did the Evan Williams 1783. This is that bottle. And we haven't really talked about it much on our recent episodes.
No, we can't. I can't. Every once in a while, one of us kicks it in, but
Yeah.
it's not very like
Hmm.
fluid or
Really. But so the deal with this bottle is that we're filling it with a dime per subscriber, and once we get to 1,000 subscribers, which would be $100, we're gonna take it, we're donate it to Wounded Warriors, I
or
think.
some
Something like
veteran
that.
charity because we started on 9/11.
Yeah.
Seemed like a
So
nice way to go about it.
something like that. So that's what we're gonna do with it. And since the last time we brought the bottle on the show, we've gotten 8 new subscribers. So thank you very much. And we'll throw those in. And so shield your ears, children.
There you go. Dropping dimes.
Dropping dimes. He
like
brought them in a bag,
like
which
my
was
dime bag.
his dime bag.
It's true. It is. It just sounds terrible.
That's
But yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah. So thank you, everyone. We're up to 52 now, so that's exciting.
Yeah. There are so many shows.
Yeah.
Like when I go to do research on something that's very random, like some of the bottles I brought, we might get into discussing it while we get talking about stuff.
Mhm.
Um, like sometimes there was one we did recently, and I can't remember the exact bottle, but the only review I could find were people I'd never heard of, and they have hundreds of views, or where we have like 20 on an episode or something like.
Right.
And it's like I've never even heard of those people, but yet I have to, if I want to do research by watching shows and learning stuff that way, they're the only people that did those episodes. So
Sure.
they get that click from me. In which case is kind of why I grab a lot of bottles if I'm like, I've never seen this before, let's do this. Because
Yeah,
it's
man.
like maybe that means somebody will click on us because they're like, well, some of these gigantic shows with gigantic amounts of subscribers didn't do this and didn't review this and
Going for
have
that
it
niche market down low.
something, some angle, something.
Yeah.
So
That's sweet the leg.
yeah, we need to pour stuff.
Yeah.
We're doing a
So
bourbon show, and I don't have whiskey
absolutely.
in my
Let's
glass, so
let's get to it. So we have
you can tell I didn't drink
some
yesterday.
of our old favorites,
Oh,
and then
wild turkey
I
one.
brought out some Doc Swinson because we do love our Doc Swinsons, and Jesse's a, Jesse's a good dude. And then we also have some new stuff that is off camera that you can't see.
It's
So
true. We'll show you. We'll show you. If you're good, behave.
yeah, be nice.
No, yeah, Jesse's probably one of the biggest supporters of ours so far that has helped us as much as anybody.
Yeah.
So, and he's pretty much the best. So,
So uh, we're kind of starting this out right as far as like we're starting out telling you about like the dimes and all that, and like what we did when we started the show.
right.
And if you go back and watch our first episodes, they're not nearly as polished as this turd. Um,
They're not nearly as excellent as this horrifying thing we're attempting to do here.
definitely worth like a couple chuckles. There's a Batman shirt involved and things like that. So
Well, yeah, it's not even bad. That's not. Towards the end of the one episode, we talk about strippers in your house and whether or not what you had to do to get stains off your floors.
oh my goodness,
Those are still all online, by the way. If you guys want to go
the
watch
internet is
those.
forever. Just remember that.
So something that I caught right off the bat when I started looking back at some of the stuff we did was we did the 15-year Knob Creek either the first or second episode, regardless. It was very early on.
Hmm.
And I immediately thought, and I wrote down, for like, because when we discussed this, it was like where we started, where we are, and where we want to be. Is the, like he said, the three ideas. And I thought, well, you know what? If there's something I would love to do again, and I know it's expensive and we got to just get our hands on it or whatever, but I think we should probably try a Knob Creek 15 again.
Now that we
Having,
have
yeah, because
a
that
year
was,
plus out.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because I don't think I had any idea like
Yeah,
what I was written, and now I would be like, I feel like maybe I'd have a lot more.
appreciation.
Yes, yes, and more detailed
Yeah,
analysis of what I'm tasting, perhaps, and things
we
like that.
we'd be able to articulate it better for those of you that actually watch us. Because I remember those very first couple shows, we kept using the same line over and over again.
And but we were having so much fun.
It was.
We
It's
laughed so much in
good.
those, and it's enjoyable to
Yeah,
watch. We we said something on one of them on episode number 8, which so we're a couple months in at that point.
sure.
We did and this he still kind of shocked me because not shocked but reminded me, I guess. But we did the Dickel 8-year Tennessee whiskey, right? It wasn't
Yeah,
the bourbon, that one wasn't. It was
it
Dickel,
was, and it won, didn't
Tennessee.
it? Or
And I don't even remember
yeah,
that, but I remembered that I watched it and I remember you saying you're on it saying I was like, "Did you finish that?" You go, "Oh, I drank the shit out of that. That was awesome." And it was only 80 proof, and I was like, "Wow, there's an 80 proof in there on our show where either one of us is like, that was awesome."
yeah,
So, at some point, if we ever blind 80s, we need to grab that Dickel 8-year because you loved it at that time.
that's fair.
So, um, but anyway, yeah, just, so going back and coming, and we didn't know why Dickel, we go on and on about why Dickel wasn't a bourbon on
Hmm.
that label. And we came up with it, maybe it's the mash or something. Turns out it's because at the only time when they do bourbon is when they don't use the Lincoln County process. So that whiskey had been mellowed, charcoal mellowed. So that's why that wasn't a bourbon. We
Interesting.
didn't know that at the time, or we didn't have that knowledge. So
Right. We were
going
just
back,
drinking on the internet.
yeah, yeah,
It
but
was,
again, we it was very like blind because we didn't really know, and you loved something that I go back and watch, and I'm like, wow, he loved that, really?
right.
An 80 proof?
Now I'm more snobby
Yeah, yeah.
with
Not,
my
not
Wild Turkey 101.
you're more established. So it was, yeah. As a matter of fact, you said Dickel has a twang. I wrote it down. Yep. I was so yeah. It stunned me. So yeah.
But no, that's kind of like the whole bourbon journey thing is like, you start out, you're enjoying yourself, and you're not really sure what's what, but then you get into it more and more, and then you like are able to you can actually grab like what the one guy has a whole like profile for tastes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Bourbon Real Talk. Randy
Yeah,
something's got
yes,
a.
he's got a whole kit you can buy to like get the tastes and try and refine your palate better. And you can just go wild with stuff like, oh, this is this year's release versus this year's release, or like this is
For
something,
this batch,
yeah,
like
like
yeah,
this is
yeah,
batch C barrel strength, but it gets nutty. It gets so nutty so fast.
it does.
And I remember those first episodes were just like, oh, let's grab something off the shelf. It's medium cheap, and just drink it in front of the camera. That seems like a good time.
Yeah,
The thing that I'm glad
it's a little fun.
we don't do it anymore, but I'm glad we don't, is that freaking ice bowl. You remember the ice
I do
bowl?
remember the ice bowl. Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, from first 5 to 10 episodes, we always had it with and without ice.
Yes, we did a neat under rocks.
And
Yeah,
some of those, we joke about it now about some of the
yeah,
certain episodes when we filmed too many in one day.
yeah.
But those ones were even doubly as much because
Because
we
we
were
drink it
double
twice.
filming and double drinking. And you're
Mhm.
just that 1792 episode.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just kind of sitting there like in a daze. I'm like the whole episode. And I'm like, I don't really like that one. Or did I like that one? I don't know. Like it's yeah.
1792 was a good year.
Apparently, I have no memory of it aside from watching the show because
And then he drove home.
oh yeah, hours later, hours
Yeah,
later.
no, it's fine. I kept him back. But no,
Still, you're happy and healthy and no tickets or anything like that.
but I do. I remember that the ice bowl and like the clangs of ice and just like grabbing it, like raw dogging it with your hand.
Yes, yes, we were. We
We
were
didn't even have
exactly
like little grabbers or anything with ice.
hmm
We were
I think
just
it's a
doing what
little
we
fun.
did. Oh man.
Forgot about, and you were using the. We were both using the like goblets of fire cups or whatever those are. I'm not saying the right cup, but you know what I mean. It had like a stem and it had like a bowl to it. There was
Oh yeah.
those. It wasn't a wine glass, but it sort of looked like a
No,
bigger
I
wine
know
glass
exactly
or
what you're talking
highball
about.
glass. I don't know
Yeah,
what that is, but.
No, she got those in the divorce.
Oh, there you
Um,
go. Good, because we don't want those. So
no,
that's
we don't.
perfect. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, no, those are like for like sweet like cordials and things.
Ah, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
But it was close enough to what we wanted. Like it was, I don't know.
Hey,
They're go back and watch it. You'll see. They're like short, stout, fat. Some people use it for beer. They're like a
no,
They're like a Glencairn, but they're just wider.
yep.
Yeah, some people use those as like a small beer glass. Other people use them for cordials.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I maintain that where with the where we're at site. I was gonna say this to you like on
Mhm.
here or before we do it, like because the where we were, where we are,
Yeah,
where we're gonna be stuff. It I think those are great topics to discuss, but there's no way I'm gonna stay on topic from one of them. I'm gonna be
yeah.
like from here to here to here to here to here because I'm always all over the place.
Well, I'll try and keep them on board.
So
But
it's
I mean, and it was.
but I don't believe I still don't believe glasses make as big a difference as other people think they do.
And
No.
also, you'll get there eventually,
I,
maybe, because I mean, look at the open versus unopened bottle, you
the
know?
open and unopened is legit. I
Yeah.
just don't feel
So,
like when I do this in a glass, in this glass, or a Glencairn, or a New Orleans, or any of the other shaped glasses we've had, or do have, or will have, I just don't think that it makes the difference so much different that it matters. I just don't. Like,
well,
why does this
we can
swirl
definitely get it.
versus
Hey,
that swirl?
there's a new episode idea for us.
You
We'll
know,
just do a glasses comparison with the same exact bourbon in three different
and
glasses.
oh my god, I could probably make it 10. I've got a bunch of different rocks glasses that some of them are a wider circumference, some of them are shorter, some of
We'll
them
do like a shot glass, like a Glencairn.
Scotch glasses from Scotch companies, but just the glass. And one of them shaped a little different than the other one. And neither one's a Glencairn, but one's a little heavier, one's a little more
We'll start
bulky.
with three, not get totally
And
shit
then you
faced.
get to the ones, and yeah, I mean, I just don't think that's as big a deal as some. Not that some people make it out to be, but if you watch any of these shows, what you see is Glencairns almost exclusively, and I don't feel like that needs to be. I just don't, especially with just sipping and tasting the first time
Sure,
and all that. So
sure.
anyway, nonetheless,
But yeah, no, that's
I wrote I need to shut the hell up like 3 times by
early on.
before
But
this.
no, we've
I talk way too much.
no, we've gotten a better flow and more dynamic as we progressed, got more comfortable, that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely,
But
definitely.
this is a lot of fun, and we really
Oh
enjoy
God,
doing
yes, this is my favorite
it.
thing to do. This is so
So if you
awesome.
have a friend and you want to record yourselves looking like idiots on the internet, by all means, do what we did.
There you go.
I do remember the very first couple episodes too. I think I didn't even have the Yeti microphone that we use now.
Hmm.
I had like this little $35 piece of shit. And we were using like the laptop's built-in like
Camera.
webcam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've gotten some better equipment over the time. Like I've got like actual lighting now and
Yep.
some yeah, we use a ring light.
Like a tanning booth. There's red lights here and over there. There's the big
The ring light that
the
like the makeup
uterus of the
tutorial
vagina
chicks use.
or something. I called it the first couple episodes, the vagina's uterus or something.
But yeah,
The
internet's
internet's uterus,
yeah.
right? Vagina's uterus.
That's a weird thing to say.
That
Uh,
doesn't even belong at all.
no,
And
no.
this, oh my god.
Nice. I'm gonna drink now.
Nonetheless, good grief.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yeah.
if we're so going back to something which caught me, which I thought was cool. One of my favorite episodes we did, which it wasn't so well. Okay, so I'm a very visual person, so sometimes I catch things in some of our setups when we get the bottle set up before, like it just looks beautiful, and other ones kind of don't mesh as well on camera. So I guess it's like I don't know, whatever the
Mhm.
visual to me. And we did episode 8 where we did Bowman's port finished, and then Angel's Envy because it's port finished. So we kind of did these comparisons as they went, like a rolling
Yeah.
comparison, right? And we talk on this episode about we hadn't had Blanton's yet. It was like a week later or a month later that Clark Bar brought me the first bottle of Blanton's we got our hands on from Virginia. And we're talking during this episode about can't wait to taste Blanton's, and we're drinking Bowman's, which is Blanton's, and we didn't know that.
No.
And now we know that Blanton's or Bowman is Blanton's, the same recipe from Buffalo Trace contract distilled to the Virginia distillery that Bowman's does.
And
So
we also aren't sure of what they do to the juice after they get it.
right. I heard third time distilled, but
Right.
that's all I heard. So I don't know.
So it could be it's a little different, but at the same time, once it opens up,
Yeah. The opening up thing is still the biggest thing on my thing. Like, and that was recent. to a degree for me
Yeah,
that didn't
yes,
see.
that's been within the last couple months here that we've
Yeah.
found like, oh yeah, we like with the rabbit hole and all that stuff.
Oh man. Oh man. That's what I asked you something last night or the
Mhm.
night before about if you had something and it was like we should try it opened up. The Remus. We weren't big fans of the Remus. And I thought, well,
Well, if we weren't big fans of it and it's mine, I probably didn't finish it because I don't like to drink things that aren't tasty.
and I'm wondering if because Remus kind of has a an aura of, it should be good or it should be decent, even if
Mm.
it's not your palate. And I thought we really kind of poo-pooed on it when we had it. We put it up against Blanton's right off the bat,
That was a mistake
and
as well.
open Blanton's
That
right
was a
off the
mistake
bat.
as well.
So I think something going forward will be, if we try to put the episodes together,
Mhm.
well, but
Yeah,
there's open and unopened, and that should be its own episode. We do the same whiskey.
yeah.
This one's been open for a year. This one's been open 6 months. This one's just opened, and you know what I mean. There's
Mhm.
a lot of playing with ideas
There's,
there.
I mean, I'd be fine with a couple episodes like as we're since we're in like the beginning part where we're talking about what we've done, just revisiting some of those as
Sure.
far as
Oh yeah, for sure.
not just like open, but like open, unopened, like exactly like you're saying, because we've definitely reached a new level as far as like the things we delved into, researched, found out about bourbon, the distillers that make them, and all that. And in no small part, thanks to a lot of the people that have we've reached out to or reached out to us, whether it be Jesse, Whiskey Dick, or a bunch of others. So
Yep.
thank you all for that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really helped us out a
Yeah,
lot.
thanks so many people for the people,
Yeah,
local people that
yeah.
you're on lists and they call you and
Hmm.
or they just the one time the Kentucky Oak thing was just like, hey, we just got this. Do you you know it? There's a lot of people out there that it's a great community.
Absolutely.
Whether it's your local one or it's the internet, there's not a lot of people that are just total dill holes. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, there's that one guy.
I
There's
mean,
always that one
yeah,
guy.
there's always one guy that's gotta, I wrote down, we are a bourbon sitcom. I was like, this is more of like I don't know, because we go off the rails a little bit,
Yeah,
and
and more recently I've tried to edit some of that out, but in one of the last episodes I dropped, I took all the things I edited out and threw it at the end. So it's not
yes,
talking about bourbon, it's just the stupid shit that we say when you're not watching.
stay tuned for the end of the episode. The one says, and Rox was never seen, heard from again, like something about ice cream, and I
Oh
was
yeah,
dying. I was like, oh my God.
he was that was like the third or fourth episode we did that day. And he's like, "Man, I really want some ice cream." And then I black screened the episode and I said, and he went and got it. And he was never seen from or heard from again. It's like
It's so good.
a very, very Benny Hill vibe.
So, oh my God. So, okay, if we're doing a retrospective thing, right?
Mhm.
So, what do you think? If anything from beginning to now, what are some of the things that have either A, surprised you, or B, like been right in line with kind of what we thought at the beginning of maybe. But like, you know what I mean? Do you have thoughts on that? I mean, I wrote down some ideas I have, but I also said I wrote down I need to shut the blank up. Like I blabber. Yeah, I'm still doing it.
Blah, 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 blah.
Right. So I'm asking him questions.
Um, Honestly, I feel like I've become more of a fan of rye since we started. Like I was very adamant that no, bourbon, only bourbon. But ryes are
Hmm.
okay. Like it's a different grain, it's a different flavor. And apparently it's much cheaper because it's easier to make because it doesn't take as long to make.
Long to make good, I think, right? That's what
Yes, it
Jesse told us.
doesn't take as
It's
long to make a good rye. You can
right.
still make a shitty rye. Like if Town Branch made a rye, I wouldn't get
I saw
it.
somebody said the only problem with Rise is it gums up the barrels worse, so it takes longer to something to do with gumming up something. I thought it was the barrels. It might have been. I don't know.
Sticking.
Yeah, something. So I don't really know anything about that, but I mean, I'm with you on the Rye stuff.
Yeah,
I had never tried a Rye until this show started,
yeah.
and I don't even remember where we started actually tried our first Rye, like which one it was in all these episodes. This is right around our 100th. Did we mention that
Yeah,
on
this is
camera?
the 101st, ergo the 101.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I think was it Bullet? It wasn't Bullet, was
It
it?
might have been.
It could have
Yeah.
been.
Man, no,
Could
because
have
we
been the
started
Bullet
doing
Rye, or it could have been the
like,
Elijah Craig Rye, but it was around there. Right? It
somewhere.
was relatively recently that we started putting them on
And
regularly.
we get into those ryes where they're 51% rye just to make it a rye,
Well,
other ones that
yeah,
are 95% rye.
we did the Whistle Pig Roadstock.
Yeah, that might
That might have
was
been
one of the
that
first
was one
ones
of the
too.
first ones,
I
and
still
it was
I still
great.
have this much of it left, and I
Nice.
keep leaving it there because now that things have opened up, I'm like, when I open it, I I'll probably bring it back to the show for
Yeah,
something with the
that,
tire on the top
that'll
with the
be.
wheel.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the cork on
Yeah, you got that. I didn't even
that.
notice, and I'm the racing guy for that. Yeah. So
But yeah, no, it's there. There are things that change and there are things that don't. Like the rise, that was a pleasant experience. The 2 or 3 times he's tried to get Scotch on the show, I've shut him down because it's awful.
we don't do. He doesn't. And I get that. I get that. I totally get that. I didn't. Neither one of us said anything really truly bad because I watched that about the Kentucky Oak, whatever. But we were talking about like $100 bottle. Like it wasn't going to be. It's. I feel like scotches are a little creamier. There's something. The word creamy comes to mind when I think of
The word dirt comes to
it.
mind.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I'm not pushing that issue at all. The thing I wrote down immediately was the non-distiller producers slash um, anybody who finishes or whatever. When we started, I thought it was like if I want your bourbon. I don't want Jimmy's bottle because he sourced it from MGP, did nothing to it, put it in his own bottle, and doubled the price so he can make a profit.
Mhm.
And since been one of the bigger things that have opened up to me because Jesse,
Mhm.
Penelope, Barrel, like we can go on and on about that.
And
From
that's
sourcing some to finishing to blending to and these are some of the best tasting things I feel I've had in this year plus year and a half almost that we've been doing this are things that I wouldn't have guessed when we started this at all.
and that's kind of what's happened with us finding out more about what's going on behind the scenes.
Right, right,
Like
and understanding.
originally we're like, why the hell would you pay more for the same shit? Like someone just bought this bottle from a distiller and then just bought. That's not what happens. Like if they can do that, but I don't know of anyone that does do that. Like you're saying, Doc Swinson and Penelope, they take the juice and they make it their own in specific ways, and they are basically taste testing these things to make sure that you get the best quality product out of it.
Yep,
And so they're taking some of the guesswork out of it for you,
right.
because otherwise you'd be like, okay, well, there's like 800 different barrels that have been released from MGP directly, and I'm gonna try one and never be able to find it again.
Right, right. Yep.
So, so it's definitely a great skill for them to have to help the entire community.
It's just the biggest thing to me. I just
Hmm.
never I always thought labels looked cool and like I said I'm very visual. I bought uh which one's the one? This one's the one I bought recently. Am I on here? Yeah, you can see it anyway.
Yeah.
Cumberland Falls, right? Never heard of it. It was like 30 something dollars, maybe 40. 4 years old, 86 proof. Comes from Owensboro, Kentucky, which is probably Green River Distilling, which makes Green River bourbon. I've never seen a bottle here of it, but they also source, and I think they make the Terry Bradshaw, and I think maybe I didn't, double check all this today because what we're doing now, what we're sipping, isn't really necessarily reviewing, but we're,
Right.
just kind of sipping through talking about the last year and a half and
Hmm.
stuff. But I like those different bottles for the reasons I said earlier about like if somebody clicks on it and we did a review and we have a 5 minute short about it, we might get 100 clicks and nobody
Right.
else did because they didn't do that bottle. It helps the show. There's the helps the show, helps us. Is it just cool?
Hmm.
It says 4 years old. 4 year old Kentucky bourbon. I figured for $30 isn't gonna be
Awful.
yeah. Chances are, and I'm the bourbon dumpster. We've said that numerous times.
Many
I
a time.
will drink the things that aren't gonna get drank by anybody else or drunk. Drink, drink, drunk. Anyway.
He drank the town branch.
It's true. It's gone. It's gone.
Should be.
I haven't bought another bottle of it, but it's gone.
I would never.
No,
Never.
you probably shouldn't. No.
I won't. I repeat, like even if they come out with like something like they came out with other iterations, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
you are dead to me. Like this is you can offer me no immediately no $10 for a whole bottle. Mm-mm,
It's
no,
it's true.
like give it to me on the streets.
And
Mm-mm.
again, that episode, like I said it first, and I go, I taste chocolate, and you go, I taste cat piss.
Yeah,
Like that's,
immediate that
and
pick.
I was like, oh, that's what the hell, like something. Because I actually liked the flavor at first. I was like, is there chocolate in this? This is wonderful. And you're like, this is cat piss. And I'm like, oh god, what's
He,
happening right
dude,
now?
he eats cat turds
We
sometimes.
might have been 3 episodes deep that day too. I don't, that's
Gave him the
getting deeper.
Stifler chocolates,
Um,
American Wedding right
it's
there.
jeez, oh god, gotta do the
Yeah,
Stifler dance where he gets out there and does the dance with the yeah.
yes. That's another thing that I've kind of enjoyed about. Like we do go off the rails, and a lot of it's like movies and actors and things like that. Like a
Snoogans.
lot of Kevin Smith.
Mhm. Yep, yep. Did
That's
you watch Clerks 3 yet?
not yet. No,
Oh, it
it's on my
disappointed
list.
me. It disappointed.
That's
It's a little too emotional for a Kevin Smith
a
movie.
little emote.
Yeah.
Mm,
So yeah, so we've discussed like some of the things that are, what we like, what we don't like, what we've learned, sort of.
yeah.
But little things like that. Where we want to be in the future, we haven't really completely touched on per se. Um, I know we want to. I know at some point I want to try to get some more shirts out there. This one I made for my cousin Matt, and I
Yeah.
sold it basically just to my family. I didn't put it online. I just sent pictures of it, and they bought some shirts, and we sent him about $100 to help with his medical expenses because he has cancer. I'd like to do some more stuff. I know we got to do it the right way. We can't try to do stuff, this, that, and the other. But I have the Facebook page and this, that, and the other. Where would you like to go from here as far as your next steps in your head? Where you'd like our show to be
So
aside from just growing?
honestly, I feel like it would be. I mean, just the growing part that I know you just said. Aside from that,
Right. Well,
like I mean, I've invested
but
a
you could
lot
expand on
into
it. So yeah.
yeah, we've invested a lot into like the equipment for the show and that kind of thing. And we don't receive any type of monetary from anyone. Like we just do this out of fun. Like that's what we do. But I think it'd be cool to be able to monetize a little bit.
Right.
Maybe
The
be able to buy a bourbon every month or
the
so.
the couple people that have
Yeah,
bought a couple shirts that were your friends,
yeah.
we charged them like an extra dollar, and
Hmm.
I have those dollars right here
Yeah,
still.
we've made all of
Like
$11.
$11, and it's still just tucked into this notebook in a year and a half, and that's because his
Yeah,
friends bought some T-shirts.
but
So, and him, this I
yeah,
think two or four
two.
of these bucks are from you too.
We gotta wear our. We can't ask people to wear our brand, and not wear it
Yeah.
ourselves. So,
Well,
we really haven't made any money. That's fine. Like we're doing this for fun. We're not doing this for money. We're
right.
doing this because we enjoy bourbon. We enjoy having fun.
I want to go to Kentucky, or I want to go to a distillery or whatever. I know that's a future plan.
Those are definitely like things that I want to do, and I think it'll be super cool. We're definitely at least a couple of years out from that
We might be
with
able to
our
visit a New York distillery. Mackenzie's like an hour or two away.
yeah. It's not far.
Penelope's like 5 hours
Yeah,
away. It's not,
Penelope's like New Jersey, man.
well, but it's not Kentucky.
No.
And it's, there are places, and I'm not saying they'll be good or bad, but
I feel like Kentucky's only like an 8 hour.
eh,
Yeah, so if we're gonna go to Penelope, might as well go to Kentucky.
right, it's
I mean,
true.
it's not. It's more than a day trip. I'm not driving 10 hours in one day.
It's true. I'm not arguing that point at all. He's right.
Um,
I need more stuff in my glass.
yeah, me too.
So hey, this is a different bottle too. That this is called Broken Barrel Bourbon, right?
Mhm.
And I looked it up online. I sent you the picture on their
Yeah,
website. They have the picture of the guys that own the place smashing them barrels with the like
like
axes
mallet.
and mallet and
Yeah,
stuff, and they
sledge.
put the broken barrel staves into the barrels of their whiskey, and they get this. I, so again, something I'd never heard of. And it's
Yeah,
just
just kind of weird.
I don't. I mean, I said to you, and I think Maker's Mark 46 puts French oak staves into the barrels, which is what makes it the 46.
Hmm.
Now that's not broken, and that's French oak staves, but it's something where they put something into the barrel as opposed to just making the barrel different and stuff. So you can open this
Yeah,
because why not? It's the
absolutely.
whiskey show.
Sure. Speaking of French oak staves, I did buy the bottle of Doc Swinson's French oak.
Nice. Yes, I asked you that. I remember.
I was
Have you opened it, or is it on?
no, it's somewhere over there in
Yes, the pantheon
in
of.
the bourbon backyard
There you go.
bunker. Yeah.
I was looking through it. I didn't even. I don't think I think the one I saw that I didn't realize you had was a single barrel of Old Forester. I
A
didn't.
single barrel Forster.
Yeah, it's on the bottom. It's like a
Yeah,
black.
no, what I got from Buffalo.
Ah,
It
there
was
you go.
a barrel pick for Premier Liquors. Big, huge store up in Buffalo.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll put this on so we don't spill. But here,
Nice.
you should try it too. Because why not?
All
Why do
right.
we don't do this? So I'll try it.
So it's Kentucky. So what's the proof on here?
No idea.
47 and a half ABV. So that's like
85.
90, 95.
Yeah, I think so. If I heard you right, I didn't not sure if I heard you. That's why I
Yeah.
needed. Yeah.
95% or 95 proof.
Again, whatever. This is. I mean, we'll tell you. It's not like we're gonna sit here and sip it and go, haha, and like
You're gonna have to find out yourselves.
figure it out, you bunch of jerks. Yeah.
You never. He's doing
Getting
the fancy thing from the what was that guy from Futurama? He's like, yes. Or what is it? The Family Guy,
I know the voice
the
though.
underbite.
Yep.
Well, you're never too rich for a hot dog. Mm.
This is why we're a bourbon sitcom because this is most like I mean, this show didn't have its like lineup of what, and we did the research for what we're doing, and like we do on a lot of our shows,
yeah,
we've gotten crisper as we've gone.
yeah.
Like it,
Well, practice makes perfect.
right? We've gotten better and better at it. I think. We still go off the rails,
Oh,
and we've still got our boozy episodes,
they booze.
but it's just so much fun, and
Yeah,
it's
man.
and I feel like I always thought we would get to you'd get to a point where you start doing something like this, and at some point I don't want to say you know it all, but what I mean is like you get to a point where you're like, what else am I learning about this exactly?
So there's a curve, and this applies to all knowledge bases, and it's I forget the name of the curve, but essentially there's people who know like they hear something or this is why they say a little knowledge is dangerous
Okay.
is because you learn a little bit and you think you know everything about the topic.
Okay. Fair.
But the people who continue to learn things realize that okay, so here is the entirety of this like knowledge set. I've learned this much. I know everything, and these people are idiots.
Right.
And then there's the people who continue to learn, like, and the more they learn, they realize, okay, maybe that isn't the entire circle of knowledge. There's actually other overlapping things that go into it, and so the circle of knowledge gets bigger. And so they realize how much more they don't know.
Right.
Like, there's a quote. I don't know if I think it's Mark Twain or something, or but it's like the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know, or the more I don't understand. I don't think it's Mark Twain. Never mind. But
That's fine.
I don't know.
It's yeah. I mean,
But yeah, no. The deeper and the more you learn about this, the more you realize that you don't know, and so you can literally just keep going because there's, like we said earlier, like this year's release versus this year's release versus the mid-year release versus something they've never done before.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe early on we thought maybe, oh, there's not much to it. We're gonna run out of stuff.
Right.
And then I know there was a point for me maybe about 6 months in where I was like, damn, like we could literally never repeat an episode and have
Oh
like
yeah.
10 years of content.
I remember thinking very similar stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Because even if we did some of the same stuff, we could put
Mhm.
it up against different stuff that had
Mhm.
a relation to it. When you
Yeah.
start learning that where people source from, or how they did it, or where it's located, or Maker's Mark is the only large distiller that rotates their barrels. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
all these just oh my god,
And like
it is a lot of fun.
I mean the one what was it, the Blue Note that came out that was
Hmm.
the brick house that burned down or whatever.
Yeah. Or Storm knocked it down. It was
Yeah,
a storm
tornado or
something
something.
tornado. Yep.
And they released that, but now they have more iterations of it.
Mhm.
And we thought that was a cool story, and then we tried it. It was not
No.
good.
But if it opened up, is it
It
good?
has now been opened up, and I haven't tried it.
Everything
So
minus maybe Town Branch,
yeah, we're
but
not touching.
everything else, I'm wondering if the things we thought negatively about, if we let them open and then tried them again, if we wouldn't be like, wow, I mean, it's still not my favorite, but maybe it's a lot better than it was
Yeah.
because we let it open. And that was a huge eye opener for me. So
So and I know we dump on Town Branch a lot, and that's
we used to
because
dump on HC a lot. We
uh,
don't really dump on it
yeah,
as often.
I've had Jefferson's items that aren't bad. I've had Twin Oaks. I love Twin Oaks. Original Jefferson's was one of the first battles I ever had, and I enjoyed, which is why
You said that before, and we haven't tried it. I would like to, because it's only like a $30 bottle, and I don't know why I just don't grab it.
yeah,
Someday, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I will.
We can do a Jefferson's episode. It's not bad. Like I can grab that. Like I bought a bottle of Twin Oak and I've already drank it.
Nice,
Like it's
nice.
delicious.
On one episode,
Yeah.
it was a double oak something with we probably did it with Old Forester or something
Hmm.
else with the
Yeah.
1910 or whatever.
Um, but that being said, I mean, like the going back to my avid hatred of Town Ranch, uh, there's
They
this,
put out a single barrel. I know.
there's a, yeah, there's this phrase. It's fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you.
Yeah, right.
If they get me to drink cat piss twice, I will never forgive myself.
What if it's
So I'm not gonna drink the second cat piss. Like I'm just not gonna. Like if you bottle cat piss and you're like, here, eat the cat poop. If I eat the cat poop, will you give me a steak? No.
no? Oh, is that Step Brothers? Is that what
No,
you're?
it's Anchorman.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry. What's the Step Brothers where he licks the poop? Like he licks a white poop on the ground. Because the kids are being bullies to the when
I
they're being Step Brothers.
I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I know that's part of it. They make him, but yeah, I knew now. I know what you're talking about today.
Yeah,
So,
eat the cat. I'm
so
not gonna drink cat piss again. You can't get
did
me to do it. I'm not gonna. I refuse.
the only way I could get him to do it is if we blinded it and I didn't tell him what it was. But
And
I don't want to do
and
that.
even
I
then,
don't
I
want
would
to
be
do that.
like, "Why does this taste like cat piss?" And then I'd
Yeah.
be like, "You son of a bitch."
I think the bigger worry would be what if you tasted it and didn't realize it was terrible and you're like, this isn't, I don't know,
That
what's
episode would
that
never
bad.
reach the air.
That's exactly because you.
I've built my reputation on this.
I like it. I like it. This is my favorite. This is so good. This is why this episode I knew was going to be fun because it was more like us just chattering and not
Mhm.
having to worry too much about.
Reviewing and
Yeah,
tasting and
yeah,
getting
just all these
notes.
notes. That's what I was like sniffing this a few times, and I was like, all I get is like light sense of anything.
I'm getting sweet.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't get an ethanol burn. Let's put it that way. And for 95, I thought maybe there'd be a little if it was like cheaper, shittier, or
Yeah.
whatever.
No, there's
But
definitely like a sugary quality to that, so that'll be
yeah,
fun.
I mean, yeah, it's a little light in color, but for
It does get
95,
so
maybe it's
we do
distilled.
have a responsibility to tell you things about bourbons.
Hmm.
So there's the mash bill and an oak bill on this.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
Can you read it or no?
yeah.
I mean, I know you can read it. I meant from where it was sitting.
Wow, teacher, can
Sorry,
I go to the
I
bathroom?
meant
I don't
like
know. Can you?
not now. We're in the middle of something. You can hold it. So, well, yeah, that was the right. He's absolutely right. Mash bills, 70% corn, 21% rye, 9% malted barley. Oak bill, 40% ex bourbon barrels, 40% new French oak, and 20% sherry cask oak. Yeah, again,
So
weird, different.
where'd you get this?
Uh, that was either at one of two local stores.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think it's Foster's.
It's really not bad.
Yeah, it is Foster's because Adam told me about it. He said his distributor said, yeah, apparently they like smash them and stuff, and the guy was telling me about it.
Yeah.
And then I saw the picture too, and yeah, so yeah,
It's
it was Adam.
no, it's really not bad at all. Like $30 bottle, like I would put that on my shelf.
And at 95 proof too. It's not an
Yeah,
80.
no,
It's
that's
not
great.
some. Yeah, that was
It's
fun.
actually really tasty. Like
Um,
that's the nice thing. Like I buy the things I know a lot. Like I buy the things that are like well have a reputation. He'll buy whatever the f- he wants.
yeah,
Like he's like, let's try this. Let's try this. And that's great because like he'll open me up to new things that I'm not Tom Branch, but other things that I haven't tried before. That's cool. Like I have a boatload of bourbons, but they're all like big manufacturers and stuff. Whereas this is a much smaller.
and to be fair, while you're being completely honest about it, he's single with no kids, and we've said this, and I have three children, and
Mhm.
I'm the bourbon dumpster, so that adds up. That all
Yeah.
just kind of becomes where if I see a different label, the Cumberland Falls or this is not quite the same because I've been looking for this, but I found Whistle Pig Bourbon. Whistle Pig is known to be a rye,
Yes.
and was started by Dave Pickerel, rest in peace. And finally, I saw their actual bourbon. And the interesting part about this is that when I read it, and I'll find it for you, it's distilled in Vermont, Kentucky, and Indiana. Now, to make their bourbon, they don't make bourbon, so they had to source some MGP and something from Kentucky. But it's Kentucky, so who knows? And what was the point here? 100 proof, and oh, what was I going to say about that? I missed it, but that's
The
okay.
fact that it's a whiskey fig bourbon,
Whistle
like
pig, and
yeah,
not, it's.
it's not something that was traditionally a bourbon.
Oh, here, this is what it was. I apologize. Whistle Pig Whiskey Company, Mineville, New York. Now, they're based in Vermont, I was always told.
I would assume Mineville is like just on the border of New York and Vermont.
Like that's what I was like, wait a minute, I know they're known as a Vermont
Yeah,
distillery slash well distillery because they make their rye,
mhm.
but
All that
yeah,
rye up in Vermont.
is that does that make sense or not?
But maybe I don't know. I know they got cheese.
Culturally, I figured maybe you had
They
that
got a lot of
knowledge.
cheese in Vermont,
There you go.
but
Yeah,
I know New York too.
they're bound up a lot in Vermont apparently.
Dude, those baby bells. They're like it's the best thing ever. It's like a whole wheel of cheese, but it's tiny.
As I was putting that drink in my mouth, I kind of burped, but I didn't know if it made a noise. It was one of those like
Mm,
internal burps, and you were talking
I
about
heard it.
cheese. And, yeah, that's what. Ah,
They didn't, but I did. I know.
fair enough. Excellent. Yeah, you got to be in the know. So
Mhm.
it's yeah. I I love seeing the new labels, but now because of the show and because of what like getting into this and getting deeper, I know that as soon as I see the bear or the bottle, I immediately look at the label and I turn it around. I'm like, well, where is this distilled and
Yeah.
what has it done? And if it just says distilled and bottled in Indiana or something, and I'm not putting it down, but they have nothing else on the label, I think an example, and not a bad example or a good example because we haven't tried it yet. I think there's a bottle called Brothers Bond, and it's a label that the guys from Vampire Diaries started. It's two of the stars of Vampire Diaries, Ian Somerhalder and somebody else. And they've been on a lot of shows. Fred Minnick's had them on shows. Bourbon Nights had them on shows, I believe. Other people. So they have an 80 proof, and it's like 30 or 40 bucks. But I'm pretty sure there's nothing to it. They just sourced it, and it's an 80 proof. They picked it. I'm sure they chose which barrel they wanted or which batch they wanted, or whatever. But
Sure.
now they have a cask strength too. And immediately, I've never bought a bottle of Brothers Bond. Now they have Brothers Bond and Brothers Bond cask strength, number one. And number two, I watched the Fred Minnick show with them, and it was like an hour and a half long with Fred Minnick live. And he literally says it's on the tagline of his show, maybe the best palates of any celebrities I've ever met. So those guys apparently have some idea about what they're doing.
Nice.
So there's a lot of what preconceived notions in this area in this world, and
Hmm.
I find that most of them might be wrong, or more often than not wrong.
That's fair. I mean,
Perhaps.
yeah, perhaps.
You know what I'm talking about. Anyway,
But yeah, no, that's cool. And there is a whole list of celebrities that
yeah,
got into the distilling game or the, mixing game and the things like Dan Aykroyd has like a vodka or a tequila or something. And
Heaven's Door.
yeah, I mean, we've had a couple of these things on. I'm pretty sure Ryan Reynolds has a vodka now.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know
Um,
what it is, or is it a tequila? Somebody
maybe.
had a tequila. I can't
I
remember.
don't know. But yeah, there's a bunch of celebrities that do this stuff now because they've got more money than Jesus and they want to know what the hell to do with it.
Does Jesus have a lot of money?
I mean, he's got all our money, right?
Oh, right.
He's everywhere.
And he doesn't get taxed. How rude.
Yeah.
Um,
There's a difference between churches and evangelicals on the internet.
this is true.
I need money for my second jet. Don't give scam
There's
artists your
a
money.
there's this stand-up comic who's like he flies on private jet back and forth across the country and to go to different summits about global warming and worrying about the like you know yeah anyway
Hmm.
worrying about
I think I saw him.
the
He did something recently in like
or he's just
one
saving
of the
me because I
chambers of
can't finish my thought. So
one of the like Canadian chambers of government. He was basically saying like how you're not going to get the people in third world countries to give a shit about
this is true.
it.
Yes. So as far as like the only thing I wrote down for where we want to go now, these were my thoughts, and it's like that's what usually what I started doing with the other stuff was asking you like, what do you think? Say if it's a year from now, and we're doing another retrospective episode after another year of shows. What would you like to have shows done of, or things we taste, or just whatever it is? Like, where would you like to go with
Mm.
it? Ish, like just
Ish.
ideas. It's not like this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, something I should have thought about, clearly. Um,
But sometimes off the cuff is the best answer. Sometimes you overthink, and not you, but I mean all of us. Like if I have time,
yeah.
I'll overthink something to the point of not even thinking anymore about it because I've just overthought it.
Um, I would just like to be able to get our hands on some more things that are damn near impossible to find.
See, you're about like that
Yeah,
you made this point 2 minutes ago, and he's absolutely right. Like you like to find those. I do too, but sometimes
everyone likes to
you
find
might
those.
have a
I'm
better chance of getting them because you have the 70 or 80 bucks, and at the time I have to pay three different
right.
doctor bills for a kid or something.
Jesus. Um,
I love my kids, they're the best, but anyway.
but they cost so much money.
Kids are expensive. Yes, kids are expensive. That is not a lie.
But no, I think like honestly, that's one of the nice things about the whole hobby. And I had a ran on one episode about the hunt
Yeah,
and how essentially you go out and you try and find these bottles like the Wellers and that kind of stuff just to because they're hard to find. Like good luck finding a Pappy. Good luck
yeah.
without paying $1,200 for the bottle. it's nigh impossible, but it's one of those things that, if you get one, that's going to make your whole week, month, 6 months,
Yep.
because that's awesome. That's a cool thing. And without that kind of rarity and that kind of like selectiveness, you're the hobby dies because there's nothing to look forward to. You're just gonna keep going out and doing the same thing over and over and like buying. Again, 101, great, one of our favorites, enjoyed
Oh God,
immensely,
yes.
but it's always available. It's not like I need, like I didn't buy that for over 6 months. I was without it just because I knew I could always get it, and every time I walked in, there was something else there that I really kind of wanted, and I didn't know it would be there next time. Whether it be Penelope, Architect, or
The one we haven't tried is the orange Valencia orange. I've
yes.
seen that bottle, and I
Hmm.
have yet to buy it. Nor
I would
have you?
assume, I don't remember if I did or not.
I haven't seen it on your shelves.
Maybe not. But I would assume so. If you remember or you recall the original Penelope we tried, like
The 80 proof.
their white label 80
Yeah,
proof, it tasted like a citrus.
we literally said that that might be the best 80 we've
Yeah,
had. Now, yeah, we're taking price points out of it. It's about 40.
yeah,
But again, you're a non-distiller producer and you have to do what you do.
right.
But I think that might
But
be
it
that
was
benchmark and maybe Dickel from what we talked
sure,
about earlier in that 8-year whiskey, Tennessee whiskey. But
yeah. So I feel like based on their baseline product that already tastes a little orangey or citrusy, that
oh no,
a
yeah, I agree.
Valencia,
We thought that at the 82, you're right.
the
Citrusy.
Valencia would definitely go very well with their original project. So
Fred Minnick named the rosé cask finish not like last week as his first 90 point or whatever whiskey of the year, like the one that we just had with the glass cork.
really.
Yeah, one of his about the first 90 point. I don't know. I guess they're doing 100 point things. I
I'm
don't
not gonna lie, I was not a fan.
know. It was
Like,
ice cold though,
it was
and it was
it's
unopened.
also a rosé, kind
It's
of.
yeah,
But
that was my fault. I
I
left
mean,
it.
it's been open now for like a couple weeks, and I've just kind of let it do its linger.
Dude, we're chilling here just talking about whiskey. We can
Yeah,
taste it again.
absolutely.
But that's not open for very long. It's not like it's
Right.
open for months. It's
No,
open for a couple weeks. But
but I don't know how that glass cork plays into that either.
I don't know either. Does that mean that that bottle automatically becomes a decanter?
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, you'd have to use like a funnel because it's a small hole. It's those they use wine bottles with basically with Penelope. Although the labels are beautiful, they make them very
They're
like
very like elegant, like
very
etched
visual.
glass kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't that be a theoretically a
I mean, so the
decanter?
decanter, I think, allows some air in because the cork isn't airtight. That still has like rubber to stop it.
But there's still okay. So I have okay. Now my son bought me a decanter thing for Christmas
Hmm.
from Walmart. And he's my son. I love him. And it was like $15, and it came with like a decanter, two glasses, whiskey stones that I have since thrown away. I tried them.
Oh no.
They're just the stones. He doesn't care. They're just the stones, and I ate the caramels, so they were fine. But the stones were fine. I put them in my freezer. I put them in the glass and then I'd pour some whiskey and I'd wait a little bit so the whiskey's opening up and it's chilling at the same time. But as soon as you go to right into your mouth, right, and drink it, especially from a rocks glass,
There's a
and
stone.
yeah, and it's gonna come into your mouth and like you're like dying, like, and it's all right. It didn't. No, the
So
stones are
I
a no
guess
go for me.
that's a thing that we've never even talked about is stones versus ice. Like
And we
that's a wild different thing entirely. Just
we can
because
swim back into ice because people. I mean, I'm rocks, and
sure.
I do still like 2 or 3 nights ago when I had a drink, I got some ice out of just regular ice. The stones are
Yeah.
already garbage, but you know what I mean. And it, I don't know.
No, I mean this is definitely one of those things that there's a reason why it's neat or with rocks is because people enjoy it both ways. And it's totally fine. Like
Yeah,
that's like I enjoy, if something's really harsh, throwing a couple cubes in there and letting it mellow and chill and a little water dissolve in it takes that harshness away and gives it a little, little less twang, as it were. Uh,
love the twang. I love the twang.
uh,
That's so good. I so for the future stuff,
yeah.
I wrote get some shirts, help others. I actually emailed Tommy Hilfiger company the other day because Tommy Hilfiger's from our hometown, right, or our neighboring hometown, whatever. It's two
He's
miles
right.
away, and I emailed them asking if they'd want to donate any shirts because if we get some shirts or when we get some shirts, we're going to give some money to charity with every shirt we sell. And I just haven't heard back, but it was like yesterday that I emailed Tommy Hilfiger because it's local. I thought maybe we'd have a shot. Is there still a local store in Corning or not? The
Maybe
internet says there is on Market Street, but I don't know if there actually is.
it's entirely possible. I don't really frequent Market Street that much, unless
I
it's
know, but you work at Corning, so I didn't know if maybe you were just in that vicinity. Do you ever go to Cork Bottles and Corks all that often in Corning
okay,
Market
cool.
Street?
Well, I'm not gonna tell people where I work.
Oh well, yeah. Sorry. Well, I mean, I figured the company's so big that it could mean you work. Isn't there like plants all over the world from Corning?
Yes and no, but I don't live in Korea.
Oh, they don't know that. I'm Funchal. All right, don't do that.
Holy racism.
I know, right? Yeah, that was. But I don't even. I just made up word like
I know what
grunts,
you did.
so I didn't like.
Yep.
If I said something fucked up, I didn't know I did it. So you're welcome. But anyway,
Oh my God.
yeah. See, it goes off the rails quick.
Dora the Explorer's gonna come after you.
I do know that Whiskey Dictionary Bill and Randy Sullivan from Bourbon Real Talk have both said they would do shows with us. I've emailed Bill a couple times, and I haven't. I've responded with Bill numerous times. We got
Yeah.
his bottle. We've talked to him. He did your birthday thing, and with our shirt on. And he hasn't gotten back to me recently, but the plan is because he said something about Friday nights,
Yeah.
and I sent him back a thing and said any Friday night, just let me know when, and or let us know when. And then I said also we do Sunday mornings a lot where we're doing this. This is a Sunday morning, and I said if you ever are open on a Sunday morning, we could always just zoom you in and we could just chat it up and talk and stuff. So that's what I wanted for the future to try to help
Yeah.
grow, but also like I mean, Randy Sullivan has his own whiskey. It's called the Prideful Goat. He's a non-distiller producer. He's
Yes.
a partner in that, and we can't get that beer. I've never seen it anyway, so I assume maybe he could send us some samples. We could send him some doc or something else.
Yeah.
This is the future. This is like this is where I'd like to be next year at this time. I'd like to say, oh well, we did that show with Randy, or oh we
Right.
did
I
the show
think
with Whiskey Dick,
that would be super cool to
and
get
we're gonna have
involved in.
Jesse in studio at some point. He's gonna
Yes.
sit right in between us,
Don't
so
make
we
it
can be
weird.
like, oh Jesse. So anyway. Yeah. From what I know, I think that might make him want to do it more because he's like us and he's kind of funny and goofy. And like your friend was like, I don't know if he'll do it tonight because he's had a couple drinks and then he did it anyway. And it was just, Jesse's so cool. Like,
But I honestly, I agree with you. I think that having more involvement in the community, like in the creator community, would be super cool.
yeah,
And I don't expect it. I know we don't think we deserve it at all. I
I
mean,
deserve it.
we've got 50
You'll do it now and
50
like it.
some 52 subscribers we've counted.
That's right, 52 that you don't have.
But
So
I
the new
mean,
52, like the DC comic thing, right?
we'll go 72.
Damn it.
But that's neither here nor there. Um, but yeah, no, like honestly, I feel like doing some more collaborations with other creators in the community would be super awesome. And that's definitely a goal. Like I have the
Yes, yes,
goal of
yes,
being able to
yes.
buy a $4,000 camera, but that's the pie sky dream.
What is a
Like,
$4,000
yeah,
camera?
dude, friggin' like our video quality's okay with this like $300 little piece, but like that's it is what it
I
is.
I think it's awesome, but I mean, you're the tech guy.
Oh
Like I
yeah,
said,
dude.
I
No,
don't know.
like you want to talk about going down a hole on like this? There's a whole community of creators who are like, this is the best thing for video. This is the best lighting system. This is the best microphone. I've got like mid-tier grade stuff that we're using, man. Like that's a Yeti microphone. Like we could get a Shure microphone that's like $500.
But
That's
you
really
said on this show this is
yeah.
better than the one we started with.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, it is.
so
And like there's like these box lights and things you can get for like $300 a piece, and then you have to get like the little like dampener of the light for like another $200, and then there's all sorts of money that I want to put into this show that I'm not going to until we actually get over 1,000 subscribers.
you got it. Yeah, it's got to grow. It's got to
Like
grow.
again, I'm not expecting to get paid for the show, but I also don't want to go bankrupt making a show for free. Like
I couldn't
like I
agree
got
more.
the taxes.
Couldn't agree more. He's so right.
And as long as it's, this low key maybe couple hundred people that watch our shows regularly, I don't think they're gonna give a shit about how high quality we are until we hit that critical mass where it's like, okay, now we can start upgrading and doing things like there's YouTube creators out there, like not just like Mr. Beast, who's the biggest YouTuber alive.
I don't even know who. I've never heard that word till now. That name,
He actually
Mr. Beast.
he just had this controversy because people are shitheads. He
Pricks.
yeah, he literally cured blindness in 1,000 different people, paid for their surgeries, 10-minute surgeries to clean their cataracts out, made it so that they could see again. And people gave him shit, like this is like bullshit. Like why would he do this? Like the and I'm like he just helped 1,000 people do so much better in life for nothing other than the views that he got on YouTube.
Uh,
Like he's very
Mr. Beast.
philanthropic. Yeah, he
Oh,
does a lot of cool things. Like, he did his own Squid Games where he had all these people come in and like they had to do these certain challenges and stuff, and then they got eliminated. It was like this huge thing, and he
huh.
does all these things, and he gets a lot of views.
Oh, I'm
Like I
sure.
remember when he was starting out, he'd buy out like lottery tickets from like one store, and whether or not it would be up or down in money.
Right.
Like they would keep track of all that tally stuff. And now he's well over $1 billion. He's impressive. But and I
How
mean
many
there's
followers or whatever it is does he have?
millions.
Christ.
And there's I mean and then there's people like who've been doing this for over a decade that have those kinds of religious followers, like Good Mythical Morning. They they have these little like morning shows where they will it will it blend, that kind of like little things like that they do on their show, or like
Will it like the distillery?
will it whatever, like. And so my one buddy from Buffalo wanted to do will it not will it but
Right.
will it bourbon, and then
See, now we're going.
yeah,
Yeah.
but he wanted to do that like with the will it bottle in hand, like will it bourbon as a
I,
joke, but
that would be funny though, right? Like that would be
they do these
hilarious.
things. Yeah, and he does. I mean, they do all sorts of crazy stuff. Like they try these old products from the '90s, like how you got me to try that blueberry Kit Kat.
You,
Like they're
when you
doing
were
things
saying
like
from the '90s, like I
or
bought that at Walmart that day or
yeah,
something. Like it
no,
wasn't
like
from the
they
'90s.
buy these things off eBay that are like old products. Like they got this old chocolate bar from like the '50s and things like that.
That sounds dangerous
Yeah,
as far as getting sick or whatever.
they don't get sick on these things.
Okay,
They try them, but like they have all these things they do, and they have a show every morning. It's like a 15-minute show
every morning.
every morning,
Okay,
and they've got a production team. They've got high quality video equipment, all this
I
stuff.
would imagine with the
And I
what you
mean,
just said.
the stuff in their background is worth probably more than a house. Like,
Here, try the whistle pig because we gotta. It's still a
yeah,
bourbon show. We
yeah,
gotta try.
man.
You didn't try that one.
Oh no, this is
Try that.
that.
Oh, you went to Bowman?
Yeah, we
Oh,
were talking. I was getting thirsty.
I'm sorry,
That's fine.
man.
That's fine.
That's and see, you got talking and I started pouring,
Yeah,
so it's.
but I mean, I was reading somewhere about their financials and stuff, and they make over $1 million a show.
And
Like,
now this is Mr. Beast still.
no,
No, this is a
this
new one.
was Good Mythical Morning.
The
Like,
Mythical Morning.
they make over $1 million a show. They have a production team. They got. I'm sure they're paying these
If
people.
they're making $1 million a show, they better have a
They've
production.
got editors, all that cool stuff, and they're the talent. But they've been doing it for a decade plus.
Okay.
Like this is they've established themselves, and they do this repetitive like morning show where they just do these
Okay.
things, and it's everyone enjoys it. Like it's super fun. It's just they're two dudes chilling and trying things, and they have their little
When
segments.
you say mythical morning, is this a Dungeons and Dragons or no fantasy, nothing? This is kind of like a news show or
No, it's just like little.
current events.
Not even. It's just
No.
good mythical, and then they just try these things out. Or
Oh.
they tell you about like a product, or they just try the product out, or they do different weird
Do
shit.
they put like if they are? Do they put like if they're sponsored by or get money
They
from?
do have sponsors, but it's not usually the stuff on like it's usually like they're buying like these weird objects like a blueberry chocolate bar from the 1950s World Trade Fair or some shit. Like,
I would be scared that
yeah,
if I
yeah.
buy it
I
that week, it's
the
fine. But
one of the ones that I watched, they had this like literally this is why I keep coming back to it. A chocolate bar that looked like a turd, and yeah dudes, like it
mm,
was not. Mm-mm.
I'm not talking now, so you don't have
No,
to
it's
edit.
right. I don't like it.
Right. That's the whole plan at that point. Like I just don't try not to make you edit any more than necessary because you're talking about eating
That's what
food.
I appreciate, Gotcha. Um, but yeah, so it's I mean, there's a whole community of people who are well established and done this for years, and we're barely scratching the surface on year two, and that's fine.
Yeah,
And I don't see us getting that big ever. And we're grateful for the 52 people that do,
very true.
subscribe and watch.
Thank
We
you.
love it, and that's cool. Because honestly, we're just two idiots who talk on the internet a lot.
Yep.
Um,
Boozy, bourbon,
yeah, we just
nice.
drinking and talking. But it's super
It's a
fun,
sitcom.
and hopefully in the future we can get to some level of like I'm able to purchase the equipment I want to give a better quality of show. Like
Sure,
that's
sure.
what I want to do. Like I want to make sure this
Yep.
show has the best quality that I can produce. Like I've learned editing software for this. I've learned different things to do this, which is great. I have a new skill set. I love that because I can do that for like other people who want to do this kind of stuff. I can
You're
help
the
them out.
podcast. You still do the four versus standard, right?
Yeah, a little while.
The other one. You do another one for about conspiracies.
That says I haven't been a while yet.
Okay.
He got a girlfriend, so he
Oh.
things went by the wayside
I did not get a girlfriend. My wife's against it. So,
for now.
yeah.
Oh, fathered a girlfriend. I can see that.
Good God. I I'm telling you, man, there's just so many. Like I said, you go to research Cumberland Falls or something, and you see the third thing in line is like the Whiskey Den or something. I don't know who
Mhm.
that is, and they have twice as many subscribers. But that's the point. They've been there for like 3 years longer than us, and they still only have like. There's so many people doing what we do that if we can't get a niche as far as either A, trying every bottle there is, so like if you see a bottle we should do a review of it and we should just grab it. And that's what I do because I'm, as we've discussed, like I'm kind of like the I'll just grab something and try it. We've discussed numerous times, and I almost started doing it and I could do it ahead of time because now we're into what, February
Mhm.
and April, or I think April usually is Easter, March, April, whatever it is.
Yeah,
And the Redemption bourbon is everywhere. And it's called Redemption Bourbon. And it's not that expensive. You can buy the regular bourbon, you can buy the high rye bourbon, and you can buy the wheated bourbon. And they're all Redemption. And I just thought, well, that'd be cool, like, redemption, Easter episode, blah, blah, blah. I have a little bit of a hint there to it, reasoning. But I'm saying, like, we go to Foster's or any other place, and it doesn't matter when you go or where you go, you're going to see a bottle you've never seen before. I
yeah.
stopped at that one place in the middle of downtown Poo Pooville that one day
Downtown Whoville.
at midday, and I saw bottles I'd never seen before. Never. And things I was like, what the hell is this? What the hell is this? What the hell? And we were talking about 5 miles from my house.
Yeah,
You don't have to go 100 miles to hunt. So
but I would walk 5,000 miles
no, here we go. He's just pretending.
just
That
to
was
be
the
the man
was
who
it the
walks
Pretenders?
5,000 miles.
Who was that? For play? Oh fudge! Oh fudge! Anyway,
Uh,
oh my god,
uh,
Whistle Pig Bourbon,
all
a
right,
blend of
I got some in
bourbons.
my glass. A blend of bourbon,
Well, it's got to be because it's
because they don't just have one bourbon.
yeah. Well, it says it's from Vermont, Indiana, and Kentucky. So they have at least three different whiskeys and
100 proof, sweet, small batch,
yep,
number three chart,
yep,
bold flavor,
yeah.
new American oak barrel.
Buzzwords. Bold, lovely, tasty, deep,
I'm not gonna lie,
rich.
that smells like pure gasoline.
There you go. Yep. Sex Panther. You know it's made with bits of real panther, right?
That's why you know it's good.
There you go. Don't act like you're not impressed.
Just walking off the situation here, people.
I was trying hard not to explain what that meant, just in case like you had to do more editing. So,
I don't think anything toward what or untoward was said right there.
one of the things in the future, which I gotta do either today or next time I come, if it's next week or whatever, next time I visit, is get a PayPal or get a Venmo and have
Yeah,
you help me set that up so
there
we
you
can.
go.
So I know a guy who
Oh shit.
just recently was auditioned for American Idol,
Oh, cool.
and he put it on Facebook and he said watch on February something or another, like the 19th, to see what happened. Now he's plugging it, so I'm thinking he didn't like he moved on. You know what I mean? And he's local. He's right here. His name's Isaiah.
It could be that, or it could be he bombed so hard.
It
Don't
could
promote
be,
that though.
but he's also like putting out stuff out there that like hire him and he can sing at your parties and he can come do stuff if you want him to and he can, you know,
So
and he was on the American
interesting.
Idol and he's going to be on TV whether he gets denied or approved or whatever. But I put down here like I could talk to him about singing a like creating a 5 second opening song for our show where nobody else would have it because it's not stock music and we could just put on there like Isaiah, whatever his last name is,
Yeah.
before I throw it out there and he doesn't want to be part of this because I do know his last name. And he's mildly religious and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying,
Sure.
like, it's blah blah blah. I'm not in any way, shape, or form putting him down. He's a nice guy. Comes into my restaurant quite a bit. So,
Gotcha.
but if he's on American Idol and we have him singing our song at the beginning of it for 30 seconds, or not even 30, more like 10 probably, instead of the stock music.
Do we have a song?
We don't now, but we had stock music prior to, I just, these are like, random thoughts by John Handy, but Jack Handy, but yeah.
Candy.
Yeah.
Shower thoughts.
I don't know about the shower part, but all right, fair enough. Um, we could also do a shirt, one that says neat and one that says rocks, and then try to get them, you know what I mean? Like, I'm on Team Rock. I feel like
That would be
or something.
once we hit that 1,000 subscriber
Right.
mark,
Yes, future. Yes.
we can do like a
yes.
battle royale.
That would be cool too.
That could be a bourbon show too. It's just the battle royale of bourbons. We just get shit faced and drink like 20 bourbons.
Did you
you guys?
Did you taste the whistle pig?
No, I will.
Okay. You know what? That's kind of funny too because in almost all the normal episodes, you taste before I do because I ramble too much.
He talks too much.
But I'm trying so hard to shut up so you'll
You're fine.
because I wrote it down numerous times. I sent you a picture of it. I need to let me talk. I need to shut the F up.
I think those were the earlier episodes, and I think we've long since gone over that, and it's more than fine. Like, we get nice banter.
That's a pretty good 100.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not terrible. It's not terrific. It's neither.
Gee, that's terrific.
Yeah, but it's not terrible. It's terrible.
It's Matthew Madison. Gee, that's terrific.
The third episode, we didn't really understand the labels because of the when we had the trouble with the Dickel thing. But now we've learned that the labels are you can put bourbon whiskey on anything, but if you finish it or blend it or anything else after the fact, you have to put that on the label.
Mm-hmm.
As long as it says you can say bourbon, but you have to put what you do to it. The other thing is the years thing. Like for instance, this Whistle Pig says age 6 years on the bottle. You can't put an age statement on a bottle unless it's the youngest of the whiskey that's in that bottle. So if you blend a 6, an 8, and a 10, it can only say age 6 years.
Because
the least, sense. Yes. So there are things that
you can't put a whiskey in a bourbon and call it a bourbon.
Right, absolutely.
Like, screwball whiskey is a whiskey because there is not. There's the
it's added flavor too, added preservatives and stuff too. It doesn't hit 80 proof. You got to hit 80 to be perfect.
Still delicious. I mean,
and
sure
it's, oh god, peanut butter whiskey is where I started. Like when and it's really delicious. I'm not gonna lie.
Did I tell you about the recipe? I had to have told you about the
probably
cream soda and the screwball whiskey.
Yes, I've heard that.
It was like a vanilla milkshake.
I feel as though I need to try that, but I have not yet, and I'm sad. Okay. But I also don't want diabetes yet. So
Wilford Brimley got diabetes.
I think he's dead now. But
I
think all the Cocoon people are dead except Steve Guttenberg and Courtney Cox, who were in. Well, Steve was in both of them, but Courtney Cox didn't come until the second one.
That's fair.
She was like 20 or something. Jesus. All the Cocoon people are gone. They might come back though, because I saw Cocoon. But
yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway,
speaking of ryes, we actually have one on the table.
You actually picked the 15-year Knob Creek over E.H. Taylor small batch on episode 3. I wrote it down. So, and there's nothing, it's 15-year-old Knob Creek. And we had it very early on, which is why at the beginning of this I said
there's a bottle of it over there I'm open.
The 15-year, is it yours? No. Okay. You have a 12-year over there, and I didn't know that either. I know Knob Creek had it, but I don't remember.
We tried we had a 12-year episode where we had the 1792, the Knob Creek, and...
Was it the Knob Creek was part of it?
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't remember. Well, I mean, can anybody remember like 100 episodes? I mean, I'm sure some Rain Man.
About 101.
There you go.
Oh, Rain Man can. The Candyman.
And you know what? That was part of it too. Like when we started this and I started watching shows, I started seeing these things that other people named as like, the best this and that. But honest to God, most of them are right. And it's not sad to say it because they know what they're doing, but it's like Wild Turkey 101 is right there with whether or not it's a regular everyday sipper with 1783 or it's Elijah Craig or it's something you can find all the time. Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. I've bought umpteen bottles of that because it's like 19 bucks and it's so
Yeah,
good.
this was like 25 bucks and it's a liter.
Right. Yeah.
It's not your regular 750.
But then again, when you say like I watch these shows and they're right, we tried them and they're right. Like I can't argue it. But then you get to the like, for instance, we talked about the Penelope 80 proof. We're not big 80 proof people, but you get to that Penelope 80 proof and we're like, wow, that might be our favorite 80. And we were pretty impressed with Benchmark. And mind you, Benchmark is Buffalo Trace, but for an 80, we were both like, it's pretty, you know. So if we were gonna line something, it might be that and the Benchmark, and maybe even the Dickel that you loved on the show to
Yeah.
see where you've come. Like maybe you'll taste Dickel now and be like, I don't, the Dickel Tickle is not my thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now it's not, but but then you were like, I drank the shit out of that. Like it's where we've come and what we're trying to get to, and I don't really. I want us to grow because I want us to. If we get to making money in a point where there's a point, I want to be able to get bottles we can't afford to get now, maybe,
Sure.
or go to the
I just
Kentucky Bourbon Trail.
honestly, I think one of the best things about growing would be the interaction with the community. I think that
Oh,
would be the
so
cool
good.
the cool way to do it. Like if we start like a little Patreon for just like a buck or two a month, and we have like 1,000 people or 100, even 100 people in a Patreon that's just giving us a buck or two that we can communicate with. It'll make it easier on us to be able to get a bottle or two for the show to enhance the show.
Right.
Like all the money we would get would go to enhancing the show, not us personally. Like again, I already told you, but like I want a $4,000 camera to enhance our visuals and
I'd
things
like a
like
new
that.
car. Did one of you buy that for me? No.
But like, I think that would be super cool to just be able. Like, I have a Patreon for my other podcast, and there's a couple few people there, and there's this one guy who's super cool, and he literally just he comes out, asks questions, and I communicate with him. It's one of my favorite parts about that show is that he's like asking
You,
questions.
you don't have to
Yeah,
have so many subscribers or hours to get a Patreon. You can just have a Patreon.
you can get a Patreon whenever.
Right.
I definitely put the Patreon out there for that other podcast way too early
Ah,
because, and I learned that lesson there.
do
And
we have a Patreon?
no,
Okay. I don't
I
know.
refuse to do that until we get to
I'm not the tech
that 1,000 person mark because if you do it before then, it's counterproductive.
guy. Okay. Okay.
It's yeah,
Right.
and I learned that lesson the hard.
I understand. I follow you in every way, shape, or form when it comes to how to move forward with the podcast show,
Sure,
because you know this stuff and I don't.
I fake it very well. Yes,
Yes. Well,
pretty
take it till you make it, or
much. Yeah,
beauty is a light
that's
switch away.
so.
So,
I'm gonna drop some knowledge on people right now.
uh-oh.
This is one of those things that like, you think
It's
people
not
know.
even uh-oh, it's like pay attention. It really is,
You think
because
people know what they're doing? No one has a freaking clue, man. Like,
no, I know I do.
like even
So,
there's so many people that like it. It doesn't matter what profession it is. No one really has like you remember when you were a kid and you're like, oh yeah, adults know everything. Nope,
no.
nope.
They think they know everything.
Now that you're an adult and you're like, oh shit, they just lied to me. Like maybe that
Did you drink what did you say about the whistle pig?
was great.
Okay, cool.
I like it.
What are we drinking now?
I
What's
got the
this?
Doc Swinson. This is not a
It's
Rye.
not that toasted though thing
No,
that
this is
we
the
that you
Listeria.
just bought.
This is a little bit older. It's been opened up for a while.
Oh, nice.
Um,
114. Oh,
yeah.
damn.
This is actually Maggie's favorite of the,
Oh,
I believe, if I'm not
wait, she
mistaken.
loves you, and not in no way is that a negative
There's a
because
cap on that, buddy.
I'm pausing for dramatic effect.
No, we've been friends for a very long time. Longer than you and I. So yes. No, super cool lady.
I'm going very simple on a 114 proof when I didn't realize the goddamn cork was on the son of a gun. All right, I didn't even catch it.
Uh,
Focus. By the way, I love that every time he puts this in the cork part. Like,
Doc
you know what I mean?
Swenson.
Like, yeah, it's not like the top where you could
Mm.
like, but he always has the dock on the, and I'm pretty, yeah, that's wood. That's not like
Yeah, no, that's a real cork.
synthetic, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I watched it happen. I shouldn't have said anything.
I
I should have
will.
let it happen.
Here's my argument. I do have to pee soon, so
Guess
I
what?
was kind of thinking ahead and like going faster, maybe. I don't know.
And that's another trade secret about bourbon I'm going to let you guys in on is the fact that when you're going out with your friends and stuff and they order beers and they got pee a lot, that's because there's a lot of volume in a beer.
That's why I drink whiskey now.
Bourbon, it's like an ounce.
It's true.
You don't have to pee all night, man.
That's
Like
right.
you don't have to break that seal until like, 10 o'clock. Like it's great. Like that's one of the reasons for bourbon, man. You
Oh,
don't get the mixed drinks, you just drink the straight bourbon. Great. You don't have to go, I
oh
don't know, like 5 times
God.
a night or 8 times a night or I don't know. How many is too many? How many
Yes. Yes, correct.
how many times is too many times to go to the bathroom in one evening?
When you start to feel rawness and you don't want to, you
That's a
know.
that's a different thing.
Oh, well. Oh, here you go. Okay. The things I haven't said yet. Um, so if there's something I would like to where we're at and keep continuing it and growing it
Mhm.
as a smaller piece sort of to this whole thing is the either bourbon barrel battles. When
Yeah,
we came up with that idea and you started creating that as one of our
channel like our video channel
categories.
category. Yeah,
There you go. All right. And the destination whiskey. Now, you did that for one episode when we did the two secrets and the
hmm
redbreast. But then Whiskey Dictionary Bill reached out to us and was giving us a couple points about like adjust the camera or whatever. But he said, "I love destination whiskey. You should keep doing that."
yeah.
And he said maybe we should rename our channel that. And I thought
Destination
it's just
whiskey.
a category there,
Maybe
But therein lies A, I'd like to do more of those, but B, probably more New York ones because there's a lot of New Yorks that are still there. We just don't
Mhm.
grab them. Neither one of us
Sure.
do. And it's like we've tried a couple,
That's
but
that's because we've had them. We had a New York episode,
we did, but there's
and it
more.
wasn't good.
It's some of the same uh, distilleries with different
It was
offerings,
like
but it's
Castle and
also
Key
some of the
garbage, hot garbage.
Castle and Keys from like North Carolina or somewhere
That's
or
not hot garbage,
Kentucky.
is it?
It's garbage, yeah.
I thought it was
We
okay.
tried
Okay.
Mackenzie and we tried Great Jones and
The
we
Gary
tried
Jones, the Great Gatsby one.
Great Gatsby one,
Yeah,
yeah, and
which was
Mackenzie
also
and
not my favorite.
who's the third?
Mackenzie needed to stick to the beer.
But Mackenzie's got a few more offerings. They've got smoked double oaked
I will try Mackenzie's Double Oaked, but I know I believe I remember that episode and I said they needed more years.
Hill Rock. We haven't tried yet
They
because you can't buy one for less than
Yeah,
$90.
but I believe we said that the New York distilleries needed a couple more years under their belt
Right, right.
because their stuff was just young.
And is it a couple more years, or what if we let them open up? What if we taste them once, let them sit for 6 months, and try them again? Is that a possible? It's at least a possibility.
Well,
I'm not
so
saying it's a
it
right.
is a possibility, but I feel like I remember tasting grain, and you can't if you open up something with grain, it's just going to devolve into more grain. I feel,
Well, there you go.
but that's
I
my
know.
thoughts. I don't. Well, we can find out.
And there's other ones too. There's other. Well, I can't even remember, but I know there's more
I'm
New
sure
York.
there's.
Obviously, more New
I'm
York
sure there's some up
ones.
by the Great Lakes and
Would
stuff too.
Whistle Pig apparently has something in New York. It says New York on the label.
How dare they?
I know, right? So this Whistle Pig could be. Well, wait, this is the Doc
That's Doc
Swinton's, but I
Swinson.
mean, like the Whistle Pig we just drank could be in a New York episode. It says New York. It says it's from New York.
That's
It
ridiculous.
says the whiskey is from what did I say?
Kentucky.
Kentucky, Indiana, and
Oh,
Vermont. Yeah.
yeah.
So, but I mean, and then there's Widow Jane. Widow Jane got bought out by Heaven Hill, but Heaven Hill bought them out, but they're still who they are, and they just have somebody in charge of of that area
Dude,
more.
that happens more often than you think. Not just in bourbon, but
It,
like
it sounds like, yeah, I kind of thought that too recently. I was like,
Mhm.
so they bought them out, but they didn't really change anything. They just put some guy in charge down there, made him the CEO over other people,
Yep.
and he listens to his bosses from somewhere else in his
Yes.
life. Listen, they said, don't do
And
this.
it's kind of like you have a corporate oligarchy running a lot of companies now. Like there's one overarching company for different venues and different events and things. Like you have one major entity that is in charge of all these subsidiaries, whether that be a Buffalo Trace or whatever.
Beam, and there's so many of those.
And
Yeah, yeah.
it's not again, it's not just bourbon, but that's what we're here to
You're
talk about.
talking more like Campari, or if it's Sazerac, who owns 1792 and Buffalo
Yep.
Trace, or it's there's a couple more that I'm not, but
hmm
it'll click for no reason when I'm not thinking of it. But
That
yeah,
happened.
yeah. Um, it's not. It's oh God, what used to be an old big Canadian whiskey. What's it called? Seagram's. Seagram's
Seagram's.
used to have umbrellas
Seagram's and
over
Seven.
everybody. Yeah, they had a lot of umbrellas over a lot of things. Like Seagram's is owned or owns a lot of things.
Get
I
that
think it
joke.
still does. Or I think the same company that now has the Seagram's label is also part of that.
They
So
do love their ginger
that's
ale.
Seagram's 7. Anytime I see Seagram's 7, I was like, oh Jesus Christ. Is
dude.
that a plastic bottle?
But
What are
they
you talking
also
about?
have their own ginger ale, Seagram's ginger ale. Yeah,
When was the last time you saw Seagram's ginger ale on a shelf?
I think it was like Tops.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't go to Tops much, but I just never see the ginger ale. I either see Canada Dry or the
seven
Pepsi version.
Sprite.
No, the Pepsi version of like what's I want to say Schlitz, but I know that's a beer.
Seagram's.
No, it's the ginger ale, the normal ginger ale that you could just buy. That's not Canada Dry. Canada Dry. Canada.
Canada.
Have you tried Canada Dry? It's not.
Oh, Canada.
You know what? We haven't even drank that much
Are
for
you
us.
kidding me?
For us,
Are you kidding me? We had one, two, three, four, five, six.
we've not had six. I went six.
Has it been six?
We started with
That
turkey.
one?
We
One.
This one isn't open yet.
Okay, but one,
This was
two, three, four, five. That's five. We got
five.
five.
Okay, all right, all
I
right.
had a pretty
Well,
hefty pour of a
yeah.
couple of them,
I did not have a huge one of the dock because that's 114. So I was, you know,
but it was delightful all the same.
I have yet to taste a dock I dislike. We still haven't tried his actual rye because it's not on our shelves and we have to buy it, but it's the cheapest one like on his thing, Solera rye. Because
Mm.
then you get into the Solera thing. That's a whole other like which companies do it and which don't, and then we could make episodes out of that. But that's a whole like how much juice do you actually or
I
flavor do you
mean,
get out of something that's been used
we have done a Solera
over,
before because
over,
of the
and
blatant
over.
blow. Blatant blow.
Good. I'm glad you make mistakes like that too, and not just me. I appreciate that.
Blatant blow.
He'll edit that out because
I'm perfect.
it's blade and blow. I'll say it. Fine. That's right. They know that we're not skinny enough for that to be us. So neither one of us are.
That's fair. That's accurate.
I actually said something to somebody at work the other day. I was like, we just got talking about nonsense, and I was like, I've never actually even seen cocaine in my whole life. I've never seen it visually in person. I've seen it on TV, but I don't even know if that's sugar or whatever they're doing. I've never even seen it.
Really?
Yeah, never in my whole life. I've been places 20 plus years ago where they said it was theirs. Like I heard somebody say somebody was doing lines or something. I've never seen it in my whole life, so I don't, Blade and Blow. Yeah, that's hilarious. We
When I
loved
was
Blade
going,
and Bow, and we haven't had that back on a show in a long time. But you have all five keys, right?
we do have all five keys now.
All
Yeah.
right. I only have one key hanging at home, which hey, I have a thing. You keep talking. I'm not actually.
So I have seen cocaine in my life.
Oh, fair.
No, I was up in Buffalo when I was going to pharmacy school.
That'll do it.
I was out with my boys, and some guy offered us cocaine, and I was like, "No, thank you, sir." And he's like, "But it's good stuff." I was like, "I'm sure it is, but no, thank you."
So yeah, no, and I would back then and specifically now, I would say no.
Oh yeah,
Like I
because
would be like, nah, that sounds. So I had the girl who made our shirts. I reached out to her because we had talked about things. And this wasn't expensive. This was a little bit, but she made one, and I had her make one for each of us. Like this has got the N for neat, and this has got the R for rocks.
are we gonna start giving
When we do
medals?
bourbon barrel battles, we can just do this with our winner.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's cool. And this little tank there.
Right? And yours has got the N and mine's got the R. And she gave me when she gave it to me, they both had these little red ribbons. So I bought a maroon one for my football team, the Commanders, and a blue one for your Bills.
So the Bills.
Yeah,
Go Bills.
which was
They're not gonna.
nah, well, my team didn't even get to the playoffs.
Well, yeah, that's because of why they've changed their name so many times.
Well, we're the Washington football team Commander skins. So, I didn't
So
use the word red. So
who's your bet for? Is it gonna be Eagles or is it gonna be Kansas City?
who would I bet on or who do I want to?
We'll go with both.
I want the Chiefs to win because as a Commanders fan, I can't root for the Eagles. I just can't.
That's fair.
I do have a good friend, Wayne. His son, Connor, is on my wrist all the time because he got diagnosed with cancer a couple years ago, and he's doing great now. He's doing much, much better than he was back then. And he's a huge Eagle, to the point where he worked one day with an Eagles hat on his head. And when I mean an Eagles hat, it looked like an eagle.
Oh,
It was like one of those styrofoam
like,
things. And
like
he
a cheesehead, but
worked the whole shift with it on recently, like in the past couple months. And he's a good guy, and if they win, I'm glad for him. I would root for the Chiefs because it's not in my division. I guess that's pretty much it. Who would I bet on? I don't know. It's like a 1 point spread. Like I don't know. I probably wouldn't make a bet unless I was changing the spread and adding points or subtracting points or going with a prop bet. So I don't know. I have no idea. Who about you? Who do you want to win slash who do you think will win, or is it the same?
I have a cousin who really, really, really loves the Chiefs.
Nice.
I don't care.
Fair enough. I have a cousin who loves the Chiefs, and
Like no, like
I don't care.
it's part of his identity. Like he's a Chiefs fan through and through.
Fair enough.
Like
Fair enough.
you can bad talk the Bills to me all you want. I understand they were shit for 20 years. Like every Bills fan knows this. Like, oh yeah,
Sure.
remember the 90s? That was good times. Oh,
Yeah.
remember like 2016 and on? Those are good times. But
Yeah.
there's like the whole like 20 years in there.
Where it was rough and
Yeah.
the tickets were
It's
cheap.
like a whole generation of people were like, man, those Bills really suck, huh? You bet your ass they do. But
I wanted them to beat. I really did.
oh, everyone
The
did.
Bengals, but
So I was actually up in Buffalo the day before that game.
right.
And there were a boatload of Bengals fans, and we were going to the Hartman Distillery
Okay.
to go to their barrel room,
Right.
and they had like rented out like a space for the Bengals fans and stuff, like 300 plus Bengals fans easily.
Wow.
And we went to the barrel room. I had some cool stuff. Had the birthday bourbon from
Old
Old
Forester.
Forester.
Yeah. Was it
And
good?
no, it was the 11-year-old, and it wasn't that tasty. The 10 was much better. This is the next year out. It's not as good. It's
All
a
right.
little over oaked.
All right.
But we had that. We had a couple other things. There was a Buffalo Trace product I've never heard of that we'd had.
Really?
Yeah, it was wild. It was pretty tasty too.
Was it like a kosher thing? I've heard they have some bottles that are kosher bottles. I'm not even sure what that means.
You can have it. It's approved by the Jewish faith.
Ah, okay.
It's been blessed by a rabbi.
I knew it had something to do with that, and I didn't want to touch on
Yes,
it in case that was
it's
like a well, we'll edit that. He just mentioned something about religion.
it's kosher beef. Like
Right.
they're cool.
Right.
They're fine. But this is
They're good. They're all set.
they're good peoples.
Right.
Anyway, so I scared the shit out of my friend up there. Because we've been drinking, right? And we
Right.
go outside, and there's like this huge smorgasbord of Bengals fans out there, like when there's smokes or whatever. And I wasn't even gonna check this out. Right? I yell at this Bengals fan. He's like, "What?" I go, "Good luck tomorrow." Thanks, man. You too. And he was like, "I thought you were about to start some shit." And I was like, "Nah, man."
That sounds like you. That sounds like you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that. That's so you. That's perfect.
Oh,
That's so perfect. Because you're always trying to like invigorate energy into something without necessarily being negative or trying to be problematic or whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're good at that.
what? Good luck tomorrow. You too. Right.
You showed up at the restaurant one night with two girls. It was just him and two girls, and I was like, "What's happening right now?" I didn't even know you were coming. And then you show up with two girls, and I'm married, and this, that, and the other, and I'm like, "Do you just not? What do you want me to do here?" Like I didn't even understand what was happening, and I was like, and that's kind of like, but it's so like I was just, and they were both cute girls. I'm not, there was no like negative response, but I was like, "What's happening? Am I just supposed to talk to one so you can like, go hook up with the other one in the back of your truck or something?"
No, that's not all what that was about.
I know, but I didn't know. Like I was kind of like I was thrown to the side a little bit, and I was like, "Oh shit!" But you have that, like where you can, man, I don't know, you can kind of entertain different masses of different peoples and reasons and thought processes, and yet keep it together enough for everybody to still be happy. And like you have a skill at that, like that I don't have necessarily have. I tend to offend people a little frequently.
Little frequently.
Little frequently. Yeah, yeah. A slight frequency, if you will, low frequency, but that happens. Yeah. And while you still have the very inappropriate sense of humor like I do,
Wildly.
yours is way more polished than mine is. And sometimes it's so well polished that some people don't even get it, so I can't be offended because they're too stupid. And other people, and occasionally that's been me, I'm not gonna lie. But,
You see this turd?
yeah,
It's my reflection in it.
yeah,
So well
yeah.
polished.
And he's ridiculous. I've said it 1,000 times, he's ridiculously smart. He does all this tech stuff. He's crazy intelligent.
No.
I'm telling you, it's very true. But now I don't know where we're at with all this. I don't even have my glasses on because
I can't see what time we're at, but I figured
either. But
this
I'm
is
gonna
the
go
only
pee.
episode we're doing. I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, more or less. And look,
Yeah.
it decides something else. I don't know what. It's barely 1 o'clock. It's not.
Oh, it's been going since like 11:30, so yeah, it's about
We're an hour and a half in ish.
fair. Cool.
I don't know. Oh,
Well,
there they are. I have to pee.
he's got to use his bathroom
Now
because
you can pause if we want to do something
he's an
else.
old timer.
It's true.
So
It's an hour and a half. Like it's not exactly like, and I didn't pee when I got here. I can't. I don't even know where the time is to look at it. No, oh, is it right there? Is that where it is? Good. That
I'm
explained it. Thank
pointing
you.
at it with the mouse, guy. You guys can't see it because it's off screen, but I got the
Oh, there it is on the bottom.
yeah, the red number.
You're
Yeah,
such a dick.
I know.
You're so aware of it. You're at no, stop it. We got 1.5, 129.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's. Well, okay. Wait, let's make absolutely certain here. Retrospective episodes. We've been there. Knob Creek over E.H. Taylor small batch for you on episode 3. So if we ever get the 15-year Knob Creek again, and it's open, or we can
Mhm.
have it, or we buy one of our own, we should put it up against E.H. Taylor.
Okay.
We should probably make sure one they're both not opened or they're both open. So we're trying to at least like even the playing field.
Sure.
We should do the 8-year-old whiskey of Dickel, the 80 proof. Next time we do 80s, I think grabbing a bottle of that should only cost like $25 or something.
Yeah, man.
But you seem to love it, so I'd like to see where that went. We could do another glasses episode and just pull the glasses and, like you said, use the same.
Same bourbon, like a
Yeah,
Wild Turkey 101
and
and
just see if the
three or
same
four.
bottle and see if. But then if that was like sort of like a quote unquote blind, but yet it's the glass, so it's like it's not blind because we know which glass we're holding. We'll have to discuss how we want to go about that.
Discuss amongst yourselves. Duran Duran is neither a Duran nor a Duran.
I wrote down I want to get the Woodinville port finish
Yeah.
because it's always there and I just never bought it. It's only like $50, but we've
Mm.
had a couple other ports, be it Angel Envy
I
or
remember
Bowman
enjoying
Port.
Woodinville when we had it. So,
Yeah, and we haven't bought the port, and it's the only other expression of Woodinville that's constantly available everywhere we go. And it's only like $48 or something. It's not the end of the world. So we'll grab that. And I almost kind of like Woodinville was our first or second episode, and we both liked it.
mhm.
And it's a 90 and this, that, and the other. But it's also like, well, we should try other things. Try the 15-year knob again. Fishbowl blinds. I discussed this before. We put a bottle or a bowl or something, and we just put in pieces of paper folded up that we want to blind at some point. And then we pull them out, and we say we're going to blind this against this, and we that way it's a blind fishbowl draw, and then the next time we do it at the end of an episode. The next episode we do, or one of the next episodes, we say, remember that fishbowl blind at the end? This is what we're doing, and we're doing it, and we got those bottles in case we didn't have those bottles. This, that, and the other. I think that would be I think that may be cool. It might not work out. We also have we tried. I know you have, but I don't think we've tried Wilderness Trail on the show, and it's the only sweet mash I know of. Everything else is sour mash. Wilderness Trail is sweet mash.
I have it.
Well, I think you have bottles of it in this house, or you did. I don't know if you still do, and I don't know if they're your bottles or your dad's. So I don't
No
know.
idea.
But Wilderness Trail is a sweet mash. I don't know any other sweet mashes. I didn't do research to say that. I just wrote down that I know Wilderness Trail is, and I don't know others that are just naturally.
Fair enough.
And we want to keep. I put we want to keep. I want to keep reviewing any and all bottles because I like buying the random ones that just like. Well, let's try it. Want to go to a distillery? Maybe a New York distillery, maybe not because it's closer. We could just,
I mean,
if
we do have the wine trips.
if we went to one of them that's local-ish to us, more local-ish to us, maybe it would just teach us how not to react or what to do when we get to a better, bigger one. You start with the smaller ones, so be it Mackenzie or something else.
So I know Mackenzie's did just release like a couple months ago. They're like, I don't know, it's some 10-year or something, but it was like
Right.
$100 plus for a bottle. And after having the original Mackenzie, I was not okay with spending that much on something like that.
Here's something right at the end of this all, right? Doesn't really. We haven't done a Michter's. You made a point to tell me once that you had a
Are
Michter's
you
and weren't a
sure?
fan.
Yeah, because I still have that bottle. Just I
Am
didn't.
I 100% sure? No, I'm not. But we haven't made an episode out of it or made it a main player in an episode. If we pulled it in at the end of one of the episodes, maybe we did. I don't
Maybe we
remember.
did. Yeah, that's fair.
But Michter's, here's something interesting about Michter's because it's bourbon night, so I'll throw out like who says these things and where I get some of this information. Just did a short, literally this week, about Michter's, and it's like a 5-minute episode. And they talk about how Michter's is the lowest barrel entry proof of all the major distillers. It's 103
Whoa.
is their barrel entry proof for all their stuff. It's the lowest in the industry. And they are the first ever, they did it about 15 years ago to do a toasted barrel. So if you see toasted barrel Michter's when they do put it out, it's the first one they were the first company to ever
OG,
toast.
huh?
And when they do it, They don't. Most of okay. So if I'm remembering correctly from this 5 minute episode, it's that they char their things and then they toast them as part of their normal thing. But when it's toasted, it's not charred at all. They just toast it and there's no char. I don't know if that actually is different from other toasted, if it's charred and then they toast it, or if it's not
So
charred and then they toast it.
from what I understand with the toasted barrel versus the double oaks,
Right.
is that
That was
the toasted barrels are they just put a flame in there to kind of release like the tannins and the that kind of thing from
like
the
kind of a
barrel.
quick burst, but
Right.
like,
But
wait, the
there's
toast
no
is the low end baking thing, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah, that's what. Okay, right, right,
Whereas the char is like there's actually like the black stuff on the inside,
right,
like
right, right.
cracking.
Yep.
That's the char.
Yeah,
And normally it's like a number three char
yeah,
for like a normal barrel.
right,
But then with the double oak stuff, I think they do either a lighter or a darker char, like a five char or one char,
right, right.
to
That
get
makes
that
sense.
second double oaked at a different char.
Either way, we should try Michter's. I just think Michter's is maybe again, maybe you had one that you opened and what like you popped it and didn't like it, and then the next thing it opens up and you're like, holy shit,
Maybe.
like you don't know.
I have it somewhere.
That's what I'm saying, and I still think you have a Wilderness Trail bottle around here
I
somewhere.
don't remember buying a Wilderness Trail bottle.
I'm not sure it's your bottle.
To be fair, I've been drinking
There you go. Me too.
like for a year.
Me too. Oh,
So
longer than that. Of course. Yeah. I'm 47. I've been drinking a long time.
that's fair.
So,
That's fair.
but I've never really been a heavy drinker. Even when I drank beer, if I bought a 6 pack, it probably didn't go away in the night. It was probably like three, four, five, and that was it. Like
Yeah.
I've never. Now I can hold this a little bit better. Like I said, watch the 1792 episode or some of the other ones we've done, and it was towards the beginning, and we're just like, I what like ice when
Well,
I liked this one. Which one was this
I
one?
do vaguely remember you in one of them, you're just like, what?
Right. Yes. Yes.
Like
Oh, in one of them, I think it's New
he
Birth.
just zones out and then all of a sudden just what?
It's true. He's 100% right. He's 100% right. Oh, that's the yeah.
But yeah, so this has been fun, kind of like a retrospective and what we hope to accomplish kind of cool thing. So
Just keep trying new
yeah,
stuff. We need to keep trying new stuff.
always moving forward.
Yeah, forever moving forward. Yeah.
But yeah, cool. So thank you all for whoever's been watching, whoever has watched.
Right.
We appreciate you greatly. Over a year in now, almost two.
Like and subscribe, and we'll end up giving some money to some charities for you.
It's true. We throw a dime in per subscriber.
Yeah, we would appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All right. Well, with that, I'm Neat,
I'm
and this
Rocks.
has been
The
the Bourbon
Bourbon
Barrel
Barrel.
with Fireside Chat.
There you go. I don't even know what you're gonna do there. I've had